Thank you, Crayon, for inviting me here. So I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to buy from you. Literally, that was the topic that I was given. That what do you expect? When you're selling to CIOs, what's the CIO's expectation from you? Can you tell me who's who here? There are basically two guys in this photo, right? There's a lion and there's a zebra. Okay. So who's the buyer? Who's the seller? Okay. When somebody is buying your technology, it's probably the first and last time he or she is going to buy it in their life, right? For you, you will be selling it, whatever, maybe 15 times a month or 300 times a year, right? If you look at this picture, the lion is the guy who's after his day's food. He'll probably kill 20 zebras in a month. But the zebra is the one who's going to either escape with his life or he's going to be the prey. What this means is that either the customer is going to succeed with what you do with him or he's going to fail. I want to look at what were the phenomenal ones which still leave an impression on my mind. Okay, and there have been those, and I then picked up certain themes from those sales engagements. Okay, one of the biggest themes is that it's not about your product, it's not about the sales process that you use, it's actually about you. It's about how you, as somebody representing your organization, come across to the customer. So I developed something I call it as a C-ACAD model. The first thing that you need to display is authenticity. That's the A. The next is connection with the customer. The third one is accountability. Okay, that means owning it for the customer. And last is looking at your own sales career in terms of decades and not in terms of quarters. So let me take you through how these come together. The first thing is customer advocacy. How do you think nowadays, if a customer has decided on buying something, how do you think he finalizes that decision? The answer is, and I think it's obvious when you're buying something, okay, what do you do when you want to buy a refrigerator for yourself? You actually send out a message in a couple of WhatsApp groups saying that, guys, I have shortlisted these 3 models. What do you think is the best? Don't you do that? What do you think CIOs do when they buy a technology or when they want to decide on the partner? Exactly. People are saying that, hey, I have zeroed in on this. Who's the best partner? That's how the business gets closed nowadays. If you don't have a positive word of mouth from the customer, okay, you may take it to the last stage and lose it. So this is the most important, to generate customer advocacy. Today is the social world, WhatsApp world. Decisions will be taken. So this is of the utmost importance. This is what everything else I'm going to tell you about is going to actually feed into this. Okay, how to generate customer advocacy. The biggest thing is be authentic. That if somebody asks you, hey, what are your product's weaknesses? Will you be able to tell it frankly? If you are able to tell it frankly, you are being authentic. Now, authentic doesn't mean you underplay your capabilities. Authentic just means that you tell it what it is and you tell how I am going to manage these weaknesses for you. There was this account manager, and once he knew that we were talking, you are going to implement it at dealerships. You are going to, the kind of users that are going to use this are basically people on the ground who need a very, very responsive thing, very, very high UI quotient and a very flexible system, etc. I think you guys should go with it. Would any one of you do that ever? No, right? So this is, I would say, the biggest test of authenticity, that if your product is not a fit for the customer, is not the right fit for customer, then do you have the guts to say that, boss, I'm not the right fit? Let me tell you, if you do that, okay, You may lose that sale, but you may generate far more customer advocacy. The second is the connection. Are you looking at it as like, I have this gap in my number, or are you looking at it as, hey, what problem is the customer going to solve with my technology? The more and more you understand what problems he's going to solve with your help, the more and more you will feel for him or her. And that's absolutely essential. The best account managers that I've had are not the guys, who have like tried all their best to basically reach out to me. These are the guys who have actually found some connections into the organization. The first question should be, boss, this is what I read about you. This is what I read about your organization. This is the challenges you're facing. This is what I know about it. So if you start your pitch, or if you start the conversation, is that this is what I know about you, okay? Can we discuss it with respect to what I bring to the table? I think that's the right way to start. Or probably the other way is to just listen. Can you ask him, sir, what cloud do you use? What are the biggest challenges you have right now? What are your big plans for the cloud? So here is a very small nuance I want to give you. Do you guys know the difference between open questions and closed questions? So closed questions are things that generate a single word answer. It's like, are you feeling all right? Yes or no? Sir, do you need cloud? Yeah. The open questions are which generate a long answer. How are you feeling today? It can't be yes or no, right? I'm feeling good. How are you feeling? Then the next question. Then that's a conversation starter. Or, sir, how do you look at cloud helping your organization? It's probably asking the same question, but generates a very different response as to, do you need a cloud, right? So there are ways to generate that connection. Open question is the important aspect of it. Has any one of you, before going to a customer, read its annual report? Do you know what the customer's strategy is? That actually generates a great connection. It may not give you the sale, but it generates a connection. You come across as somebody who knows about the customer. There are other things also, like, going through the profiles, going through their tweets and their social media posts. There are lots of these conversation starters which help you build the connection. Okay. Next is accountability. So the best salespeople that I've come across, okay, they go outside of their mandate, and come to the rescue of the customer if the implementation is failing. I had a project failing, and I basically sent an SOS to the account manager. But the moment I told him that, hey, I have a problem, this guy basically came down, analyzed everything, talked to the SI, talked to my team, understood the whole thing, and then went back into his organization and then basically pulled up everybody that what's happening. Okay. Now this is not his job. This is not the job for he gets the incentive, but he did it for making the customer successful. So now you see the link between accountability and customer advocacy, right? So I become an advocate if you do this. Now let's go to the last one, which is decades beyond quarters. So sales is a very interesting game. While you are doing quarter by quarter, you are actually going to build a long career which is going to span across decades, right? So it's like, you're running 100 meters every day, but you have to run a marathon of your career. You generate customer advocacy, be authentic, be accountable, okay, and generate the connection with your customers, and then you are building a career. You're building a long-term career. So on this note, let me now fast forward the account manager story. Okay. So fast forward, this was 2002-03 when we were talking. In 2007, this guy actually moved on. He became the India head of a BPM product. Okay. And this guy came to me and said, Jagdish, this is what it is. These are the ways this can help you. He took me through the entire product and he said, Jagdish, what you're trying to do, okay, this is something that can accelerate you 30%. If you bring this BPM layer on top of your CRM. Okay. This guy was authentic, was accountable. This guy did a POC in 21 days. And that technology actually became a core of what we do in terms of customer engagement, in terms of like fast delivery and all of that. 5 years later, okay, something that this guy did to be authentic, okay, and added on top of it the accountability that he took in terms of making me successful with a 21-day POC. I mean, it's basically they generated far more business, right? So that's what I mean by decades beyond quarter. You do something today which is the right thing for the customer, which is the right thing to make the customer successful, that will help you years later.